Hi guys, Andrew Davidson here, and welcome back to another As Per My Ability video. If you like what we do here on the channel, if you like our videos, if you like our content, if you like board games in general, please do us a favor and comment, like, and subscribe. Do all that fun YouTube stuff. We appreciate everything that you guys do for us. I am sitting here on a Friday afternoon, a lazy Friday afternoon. I have nowhere to be. I have no one to be in touch with. I have nothing to do, so I'm seated here in front of the window, which is why I have this kind of great lighting going on right now, and I thought I'd do some solo playing. So there's not going to be a lot of content to this video. It's just going to be a setup video for me setting up my Friday afternoon of solo gaming, and I'm going to be solo gaming Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. So stick with me for the next couple of minutes and I'll show you how to set up the game solo, and we'll see you guys all at the next video. Thanks for watching. So when you play Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, this is a 4X game by Scott Almes. X meaning explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. So those are the 4 X's to trigger the end of the game. But if you play solo, you're going to want to just kind of flip to the back. Actually, kind of start going from the back. Here's some faction lore and whatnot. Here you go. When you get into the solo play variant, and here's where you're going to want to start. So in this variant, you'll be kind of going head to head against an AI controlled faction called the Enemy, and the Enemy controls 3 armies, each led by one of its powerful heroes. The heroes each have powerful abilities and will offer a serious challenge. So let's go through the components and setup changes, and we'll keep going from there. So the first thing is to have this 8 solo action cards. I will show those off in a moment. Randomly select the faction for the solo enemy. I did not do that. I wanted to play the humans, and I wanted to play against the dwarves. So I'm breaking the rules already, as you can see. Gather that faction's components as if it were a normal game. Flip the enemy's CC, which is your courtyard, board to the solo enemy side. And so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here's the board for Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. I have already gone ahead and seeded the board with the discovery tokens, or I guess exploration tokens is what they're called. And for a solo player game, you are going to seed one of the continents, one of the enemy continents, and then just a random unoccupied continent. The 4th one will be blank. So I've not filled or seeded that one. The exploration tokens are face down. When you go there, you kind of flip them face up. Swamp tokens get 2, as you'll see. Some of the sea items, or sea spots get 2, and so I've seeded those as well. I plan on placing here and having my opponent place their castle here, and then, like I said, you always have like a 3rd spot to kind of travel to when you play solo. I've also got the human components. I have not brought out the troops yet, but I've got the towers and the castle, the ship, the airship, which I guess I need to put on a stand. The airships are always kind of 3-dimensional. They kind of like hover over things, over the water and things like that. So I still need to do that. I've also picked over here, I'm going to be playing against the dwarves. Now I know the rules say to select at random, but for some reason I just wanted to play humans and dwarves. So again, setting up the dwarf faction as my enemy for this game. I want to make sure that it is on the solo enemy side, and then I will go ahead and set up the rest of the game as the rulebook states. So here we are. We're kind of at stage 1 of setting up a solo game for Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. The next thing that we're going to do is place number 3 here. Place the 3 hero units into the enemy courtyard. Do not place 2 serfs or 1 warrior into the courtyard. So the 3 hero units. The 3 hero units are the colored units, so let me show you that. Okay, so here's the Dwarven faction. Up here it's the courtyard. I have got the 3 heroes that I've pulled from the bag. Now normally you don't start the game with any heroes at all. They're the only figures that are painted. The others are just regular orange, kind of orangish red color. And it says to place in your courtyard, which is up here, which basically just represents people that are in your castle. So these guys are all in their castle. I have a courtyard as well, which I have not filled, but we're just going to keep going with what the rulebook says. Okay, next we're on number 4. It says to place all 3 resource tokens onto the 3 space of the resource track. So there are 3 resources in this game. There is food, ore, and mana, which is magic, basically. And you have a resource track here that you keep track of resources when you use them to activate cards and do other things like that. So it says to start. It says to start on the 3rd track, or 3rd spot on the resource track. So there we go, done. We got our dwarves set up with all their heroes and 3 of every resource. What's next? Alright, number 5 here says place 1 action token on the start space of Capital City track. The other action token is removed from the game. So let's go ahead and do that. So back on our Dwarven board, here is an action token. And it says to put it on the start space. So it will go here. And it will be moving along. There's normally 2 of them, but like it said, we just read that the other one is removed from the game. Alright, moving down to number 6, shuffle the solo action cards into a deck and place it face down next to the enemy CC board, Capital City board. I'm going to just read the next one since it says the enemy does not require spell cards, do not deal cards to every human character, and I don't mean human faction, but I just mean human player. Receives 1 spell card at the beginning of the game. The bad guys do not. All the other faction components are set up in the supply as normal. After you have placed your own capital city, choose the enemy's capital city region on an adjacent continent. So we're going to go take a look at that. Here is the deck of the enemy action cards. You are supposed to shuffle them. I'm not going to shuffle them because I'm actually shooting this one-handed right now. But you will shuffle them and place them next to the faction board. These will basically, you'll flip over and it will tell you what your opponent is doing. Since I'm playing solo, it's basically this runs the AI. So this means like they would take a build action and there's other stuff to resolve. But yes, you would shuffle these up and I'm going to place them kind of like right here so I can flip them over and be able to see what to do. So next I'm going to take the level 1 capital city, my castle, and I'm going to place it on the board. You have to start in spots that are kind of delineated starting spots. I've already kind of set this up next to the table close to me, so I've already kind of picked this spot to be. The enemy, as we just read, has to be adjacent to me, ergo I could not put them up there. I could put them there, but again, for ease of play, I just want everything right here in front of me. So here is their faction. And, oh yeah, up here. So the dwarves will go up there. My castle will start here. And we all start on level 1. As you can see, the game kind of builds to like the level 2. Whoops, if I can get it. Sorry, I'm doing this all kind of one-handed here. Now, that would be like a completed castle. That would be a completed castle. But unfortunately, you start off at level 1. Now, allow me to take this very shut up and sit down-esque camera angle to talk briefly about the game. This afternoon I'm going to be playing for maybe an hour or two, combating with the dwarves, fighting against them, trying to achieve one of the 4 main game-ending actions. And let me talk about what they are. I can trigger the end of the game, and notice how I'm not saying win the game. I can trigger the end of the game doing one of 4 things. One of the things I can do is I can collect all of the exploration tokens, the ones that I showed you on the board. If all of those are revealed, that would trigger the end of the game. That is exploring the entire board. Or if I am somehow able to put out all 3 of my tower thingies, majiggers, all over the board, that's another way to expand and to trigger the end of the game. You get 3 towers. The amount of towers that you have is based on how high your castle is. So like I showed you, the castle goes up 3 levels. You need to have your castle up to level 3 to have 3 towers on the board. Another way for me to end the game is to basically put out all of my troops. They're still in the bag, but if I can get all of my troops, serfs, warriors, heroes, if I can get everything in this bag out on the board or in my courtyard, which is on my faction board, that's another way for me to trigger the end of the game. And the last way to trigger the end of the game, which of course you guys all see coming, which is the best, is to basically invade their continent and take their castle. That is basically the way, the 4th way for the game to end. And you also get some bonus points if you do end that way, because you have taken someone's capital city, which, by the way, I should mention is incredibly difficult to do. And so I'm going to be spending the next couple hours sitting here playing this game. I'll be taking turns. Like I said before, there'll be the enemy action cards that will be flipped over. So the enemy will be taking his turn, and I'll be kind of moving troops for them. And so this is a cool way to play solo, and it's a cool way for me to spend my Friday afternoon with nothing much to do. I'm not going to bore you guys with the rest of the game components and how different actions and things like that work, or how scoring works, but this is a cool game that you can play solo. It is a fighting game, or it's an expanding game. It's a 4X game by Scott Almes, and it is a lot of fun. So I will be spending the next couple hours doing this. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'm going to sign off and say I'll see you guys all at the next video. Okay, let's get this started.